Good evening. Today, the moment we knew was inevitable, but a moment for which we would never be prepared. Just hours after word spread that Queen Elizabeth was gravely ill, confirmation she had passed away at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, with some of the royal family at her bedside. Tonight, sorrow and reflection, looking back through many years at the loss of a woman who was mother and monarch, who stood as a symbol of integrity and service. This is a live shot of Buckingham Palace, a stream of people paying their respects with flowers, cards or just a moment of silence. Our coverage spans the Queen's life, and we begin with Mark Burrows on how today unfolded.
Doing her duty until the end. The Queen, frail, 2 days ago at Balmoral, Scotland. It was to be the final photo, greeting the new Prime Minister. Then last night, suddenly, the grim indication from the palace she was fading.
The Queen is under medical supervision at Balmoral after doctors became concerned for her health.
By chance, Charles, Camilla and Princess Anne were already in Scotland and raced to her bedside. Prince William at the wheel with the Queen's sons, Edward and Andrew, arrived just after she died. And Harry also missed the chance to say his final goodbye. The Duchess of Cambridge stayed in London to tell the children about their great-grandmother in person.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Palace has just issued this statement. It says the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon.
Back in London, the death notice posted on the gates of Buckingham Palace. It read simply, "The Queen died peacefully." The moment a country knew was near, that still tore into the hearts of millions. An estimated 60 million in the UK alone have never known life without her.
It's just a sad day for us all today. We've all known just one Queen. She's the person we've always looked up to somehow. It's just a sad day. Just a very, very sad day.
My mum called me earlier. She was crying on the phone because the Queen has been a huge part of her life and everyone's life. We've all grown up with her, so yeah, very sad indeed.
Never been a royalist, so I don't know why I've been so affected by it. I literally only found out a few minutes ago, and before it happened I didn't think I would be, but I really am, and I realised just how important she was.
70 years important, the longest reign of any monarch, the greatest figure in modern British history. She saw them all. 13 US presidents, 16 Australian Prime Ministers, 15 UK PMs.
I have had quite a lot of Prime Ministers, starting with Winston, and some stayed longer than others.
And on her death, multiplying by the hour, thousands outside the palace with an anthem. Her anthem.
Queen Elizabeth II was the rock on which modern Britain was built. Our country has grown and flourished under her reign. Britain is the great country it is today because of her.
And the wave of sadness reaching Australia, a country she visited an astounding 16 times.
This is a loss we feel deeply in Australia. Queen Elizabeth II is the only reigning monarch most of us have known, and the only one to ever visit Australia. And over the course of a remarkable 7 decades, Her Majesty was a rare and reassuring constant amidst rapid change. Through the noise and turbulence of the years, she embodied and exhibited a timeless decency and an enduring calm. Her Majesty served our nation and the Commonwealth for 70 years.
The moment the Queen died, the longest-serving heir apparent assumed the throne, and it sounded almost strange. His Majesty, King Charles III. In a statement he said, "We mourn profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and a much-loved mother. I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world. During this period of mourning and change, my family and I will be comforted and sustained by our knowledge of the respect and deep affection in which the Queen was so widely held." And that affection hung heavy as the crowd did its best to embrace a new chapter in British history. The Queen was dead. Long live the King.
Long to reign over us, God save the King.
Charles's reign will pale in comparison. Even as a young 21-year-old, her destiny was sealed.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
She found her love in a naval lieutenant, Philip Mountbatten, in 1947.
Again and again the people called for Elizabeth and Philip. Again and again they joyfully responded.
And then with the death of her father, King George VI.
And now here comes Her Majesty.
The Queen's coronation, televised for the first time. The beginning of a remarkable reign no one could have predicted. The first British monarch to celebrate a platinum jubilee, 70 years, which he was able to enjoy from the palace balcony. She had become the nation's grandmother, reassuring them in the middle of the pandemic.
We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
A year later, she cut a lonely figure at the funeral for her husband. Now, they will be together again. When she is buried at St George's Chapel at Windsor, she will be remembered as one of the nation's greatest sovereigns, visiting 117 countries on 261 official visits. And no matter where she was, she started every day reading the government papers in the famous red boxes. Those years of service applauded by the crowds outside Buckingham Palace. The Queen's last days at Balmoral Castle in the Scottish moors north of Edinburgh would have been a comfort. It's where she chose to spend her summer breaks with the family, away from palace splendour and public attention. Just a few hours ago, attention caught up with Balmoral. Flowers lining the entranceway to the old castle where the Queen now rests. Britain will now plunge into 10 days of mourning for one glorious life. Mark Burrows, 9 News.